walk you through this beautiful conversation with your own soul. So let's begin by settling into curiosity. And not the curiosity that demands answers, but curiosity that invites a deeper level of understanding. So this conversation about energy, about the soul, and about the intricate dance between the divine and the earthly. Now, this is a story of how energy becomes form, how intention becomes embodiment, and how the soul literally is the participant in the grand experiment of being human. So imagine just for a moment that everything is physical, everything is energy, and not just light or vibration, but the vast field of potential is fluidity. It is embodied by the infinite and the unbound. In this space of potential, there is a moment when a wave of energy becomes aware of itself. This is the moment of I am. The I am that is not embodied in ego. The I am that is not an identity as we know it, but just simply a background frequency of awareness. That wave of energy coalesces into a soul point. This is the beginning. This is the soul as its first whisper of existence. It's you. So from that point, the soul makes a choice. And that choice chooses to either participate in the realm of physical form or not. It chooses to enter the density of Earth, where resistance exists, where we meet friction, where there's an expression that takes shape. So the soul sends its intention forward like a beam of light through what we call the divine channel. So this is the soul's transmission, a purpose of essence and beginning of the knowing. The earth has its own channel, its own current of energy rising up to meet the soul. So now we have the earth channel. So this is what carries the code of form. It has agreements of gravity, of biology, and a certain lineage. And this is what carries the blueprint into the human through the DNA from all the expressions before. So when these two currents meet, when the soul intention is moving through, it is downward into the divine channel, it meets the earth, it offers the earthly channel, and that is what creates the spark of who you are today. That is the spark that humanity has a field of awareness. It's not a metaphor. It's not a myth. It is a very literal moment of embodiment. So this doesn't happen to come through the crown of the head, like many assume. It actually happens at the center of the body, the region known in Chinese medicine and what we call the dantian, which is just below the navel. And this is the ignition point. This is where the soul's intention strikes the flint of spark of the earth's wisdom. And that flint is the Akasha. And the Akasha is not just a record or a library, not at all. It is the sacred memory of all things. And it is the living field of potential. Energy is drawn upward from the earth and downward from the divine. The meeting point is in the center. It's the spiral outward, creating the energetic architecture of the human body. This is what we call the origin of the Hara line. So this Hara line is not just a metaphysical concept. It is the energetic spine of the first thread of alignment, which is the flow that everything merges into. So that is the foundation of the chakras, the meridian, and what we would call the cranial sacral rhythm within the body. So this is the sacred access point of self. It is the first line. It is the energy flow of all directions coming into this beautiful vortex of what, again, we call the chakras. It travels through the river, what we call all the meridians, bringing in synchronicity and rhythm through all of the different seasons. Everything is connected and all is alive now. So now I want you to imagine this meeting point between the divine channel, the earth channel, not as a single moment, again, but as a delta. And a delta is like a mouth of great rivers coming into two of them merging together. So like the Mississippi meeting the Gulf, it is the soul's energy and the earth's energy all being woven and braided together. So here's the thing. Sometimes there are gaps. Sometimes the energy doesn't align. And sometimes there's just plain out interference, and that can take many forms. And then sometimes there's a film that prevents a full integration. So that film then can pause and cause distortion to the field through trauma and create patterns in the field. And so this can be from ancient lifetimes. It can be from a recent event in this lifetime, and it can be both, which often I find that it is with my energy healing work. So the earth channel is a physical DNA. It's the collective permissions and limitations of experiences and the agreements on this planet, where the divine channel carries the soul's wisdom, its wounds, right? All of its longings, all of its gifts. So when these, again, two channels meet, they tend to negotiate. And they negotiate their power to find common ground. So when they do not fully integrate, it results in what we call a delta interference. So that interference then can manifest in disconnection, confusion, not feeling like there's any belonging, an inability to really understand one's soul. It can feel like you're floating. It can feel like you're trapped. It can feel like there's just way too much or not enough. So this is what can be healed. Now, I will say one caveat here. The misalignment can sometimes in the birth channel become a miscarriage or a frequency that is broken in the DNA, which causes situations where you have children that are mentally handicapped. And that's because of a frozen energy. And the energy just stops moving. And it needs a remedy of flow. And it's just not there. The agreement with the soul body, the agreement with the earthly channel, the C's, the connection, the conduction, and conveyance, that mechanic of energy is off kilter. So those three C's are what we need to move the energy through, to interact, to be a way of the three C's coming together for transformation, for the flow of energy, to meet us with this handshake of a momentum of contact, where the conduction is the flow of the energy of the connection, and it exchanges the dialogue with the essence of the flow of movement of divine. So the conveyance then is the motion of the conduction through space and time that brings your soul into existence, or knowing into existence. Everything is a journey. You are the package on a conveyor belt. And so the moment the package touches that belt, that's the connection. That's the energy that is exchanged between the belt and the package, and that's the conduction. And that is the movement of that package that brings the conveyance of your soul's life, your soul's gifts, into those three alignments that allows it to flow freely. So when there's interference, when there's trauma, when there's belief, when there's misalignment, that connection then becomes weak. The vitality is weak. It gets blocked. It gets stalled. So this is why we do a lot of work. I do a lot of work in the Akashic field. We open up all the apertures. We do a scan. We look. We don't diagnose, but we come to an understanding and become the witness, not to fix, but to witness what needs more energy and more light to come through from the divine channel into the physical form. So everything is valid. Everything is sacred. Everything is a path. Everything is a journey. And so I really want to invite you, if you need extra support, to understanding the divine channel and your earthly channel and how these can weave together so beautifully when they are not. Allow me to offer you either a holographic reading. You can do a one-of-a-kind intuitive blueprint where you take your human design and your astrology and you get an audio guide so you can better understand your earth frequency. And you can also do a beautiful session here at Beauty Ecology Organic Salon and Spa, where I work with the heart line and the chakras with the tuning forks, and we really activate all the aspects. Now, all of these are different channels of getting to the same destination. It's just your belief and what connects to you and what you feel like you would want to experience. So reach out if you need any support. I'm sending you all of my love. I hope you enjoyed that really truism on the divine channel, the earth channel, the connection, the 3 C's, that we can't force it, that we have to allow it, and that this is the beauty of organic DNA. So all my love, all my light, and I'm always here to support you.